Hello. Hello. Hi, hi, hi. I know what I need to do. Ah, that feels better. I forgot to take my ibuprofen. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, there are 3 people in here. Hello, welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. Hello, hello. It's ibuprofen. I promise. I got a bad toothache, so it's ibuprofen. Hello, welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. Welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. We are continuing Mother Hunger. Mother Hunger. Well, there's not really a way for me to make that look less glowy, but we are continuing Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to get in here. I'm a little bit behind, but obviously, I have switched my setup a little bit. I was able to get some lights, and that's really exciting. I still have so many, even on this one roll, there's still so much. I think I could do a second row of them around the room. I really, if I'm being honest, I really don't know how to, how do I put it? I really don't know how to lay out, outside of just throwing them around the border. I really don't know how to arrange the LED strips. So if anybody has any tips, let me know in the comments. That would be really cool. Because I know that some of them you can cut them and then, you can put them in different places, because some people will put them behind their TV or, on the baseboards or something like that. So y'all just let me know. I hope y'all are having a good day. Hope y'all are having a great week. It's giving root work of realness, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, I've been having a beautiful week, beautiful day. Retrograde, Mercury in retrograde has ended, and I'm going to enjoy these days when we are not in any retrograde energy. We still got shadow periods of the one that just passed and shadow periods of the ones that are coming, but for the most part we are out of the woods for a little bit. And then I think on May the 5th, I think we're going to jump back into retrograde, cycles and everything like that. Shout out to all the college students that are standing on business. Shout out to all the college students that are standing on business. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Hold on, let me change this to green, because, get the white, the black, the green. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Let's go. Welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. I am glad y'all are in here. Welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. My name is Taylor. I'm also known as Miss Taylor Said, and I started this show back in November of 2020 in an effort to accomplish a few goals. One of those being I want to actually read the books that I own. Another one being that I would like to practice reading aloud more often, just because there are certain things that I would like to do in the future that involve public speaking, and that's going to involve me reading speeches, teleprompters, my own books. And different things, and I've had plenty of practice over the years whenever I would perform poetry and do public speaking events and things like that, but I just want to make sure I stay in the habit of it, and the quarantine allowed me to get back into doing that. So that's another reason why I started. And the last reason is I want to get more comfortable with not only public speaking, but with engaging with an audience. And so my setup has been very much, I read the book, and it's new to me as it's new to y'all, and we are discovering together as I'm reading it so that we can engage and have a conversation. One of the watchers of the show, one of the viewers of the show, suggested that, I read ahead of time, prepare notes, and then present. And I've thought about that. I've thought about that several times over the years. Oh my God, I've been doing this for years now. Over the years that I've been doing Reading with Miss Taylor Said. I wish Sarante was here so he could tell me what episode I'm on. Because he always tells me what episode I'm on, and I can never remember. I want to say we're getting close. If this is not episode 90, we're getting very close to 90. So, Sarante, come on so you can tell me what episode I'm on. But I think that there is a transition coming with how the show is done and how it's presented, as I spend more time getting myself, in business mode, because I'm going to be licensed in a few months. Things are going to shift. And the wonderful thing about this process is that it's not supposed to stay the same. Things are not supposed to stay the same. My home, my set of Reading Miss Taylor Said has changed several times. My housing has changed a few times. Where I'm filming, it has changed many times or multiple times. And, it's supposed to grow, it's supposed to evolve, and I'm looking forward to evolution. So let's go ahead and get back into Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. When we left off, we are starting chapter 4. So the last chapter that we looked over was about nurturance. And if you remember, if you've been watching us read this book, I need to mark this page. There are 3 essential elements of mothering. Hey, Sarante, what's up? There are 3 essential elements of mothering: nurturance, protection, and guidance. So we just read the chapter on nurturance. If you've missed those episodes, they are wherever you're watching. The next chapter is chapter 4, and it's called Surrogate Comfort. What happens when maternal care is unavailable or compromised? Missing maternal care demands a substitute, someone who can take over as the primary caregiver. When a sensitive and reliable alternate caregiver is available, such as a partner, a full-time nanny, it's episode 89. Thank you. I was waiting on you. I was talking about you earlier, and I was waiting on you to get here so you could tell me what episode we're on. We're on episode 89. On our way to 100. Okay. I'm going to continue. All right. When a sensitive and reliable alternate caregiver is available, such as a partner, a full-time nanny, or a grandparent, infants and toddlers can benefit from relational security even when their mothers aren't available. But if an adult who can meet the needs for nurturance and protection is not available, resilient little ones must cope with distressing changes that come with life outside the womb on their own. They find other ways to feel secure even when they aren't. They soothe themselves. They find surrogates for missing maternal love. In the words of Tara Brock, meditation teacher, author, and psychologist, when we have unmet needs, we're wired to meet them in another way. Most of the time, the personality and behavioral adaptations that fill in for compromised mothering happen so young that no one notices. Leading busy lives, well-meaning parents may miss the signs that their babies are learning to distrust human connection. Now, that immediately makes me think about how people will be like, if that child's not getting love from home, they're going to get it from somewhere else. Especially when they're talking about like daughters and them not having their fathers in their lives and everything like that. It's just like, if they're not getting it from home, they're going to get it from somewhere else. And then they attribute that to fast little girls. That's what that makes me think of. But I mean, the same is true for boy children as well, obviously. But this is focused on the relationship between mother and daughter. So the next section is called, What is a Good Baby? Babies who don't cry or fuss are often called good babies. I was a good baby. Good babies sleep through the night and don't bother their caregivers. I feel sad when I hear parents speak this way. Sleep patterns have nothing to do with being a good or bad baby. Infant cries aren't signs of poor character. Biology fuels crying to bring a caregiver Biology fuels crying to bring a caregiver close. Babies cry because this is how they communicate. Communication is central to bonding, and bonding is core to survival. While some babies are born with a peaceful or quiet temperament, the idea that a good baby is a quiet baby is uninformed and unkind. Expecting a baby to sleep a full night without needing her mother is an unfortunate misunderstanding of infant development and parental responsiveness. While many newborns sleep a lot in the first 4 to 6 weeks, most will fuss and cry more as they acclimate to life outside the womb and need more support to fall asleep. Babies aren't designed to sleep like adults. It's natural for them to wake frequently for food or comfort. Without any training, babies fall asleep when they are tired. Sleep, like hunger, is natural. When a baby is hungry or lonely, she cries. While crying, she experiences a rapid increase in heartbeat and release of adrenaline. Adrenaline, or epinephrine, helps start nature's fight or flight response. In adults, this looks like driving to a restaurant, foraging in the refrigerator, or calling a friend to talk. In babies, it looks like crying. Nature prompts us for actions with powerful neurochemicals. A responsive mother brings relief before her baby gets too elevated. If not, infant protest efforts increase. She will start to cry louder. This is biology in action, not a willful baby. Babies without sensitive, responsive nurturance may eventually stop crying when they need something. Constant crying is too hard on a vulnerable little body. Cessation, like incessantly crying, cessation. So crying cessation, welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. We are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Crying cessation is an example of adapting to compromised care. So it's possible that a quiet baby, so cessation is when you are quelling it, when you are turning it off. So when you're crying incessantly, you're crying a whole lot, don't have control. But if you're crying cessantly, or you have crying cessation, then you are toning it down. Okay, I got that from Context Clues. It's spelled CESSATION. So if anybody wants to look that up, toss a definition. I'm thinking that it means that a baby that does crying cessation means a baby that doesn't cry a lot. And this is why prepping before the show, so I know these words and I know what they mean, would be beneficial. Anyway, crying cessation is an example of adapting to compromised care. So it's possible that a quiet baby may be a resigned baby. Infants who experience a routine lack of responsiveness, as the case of sleep training that separates an infant from her mother or uses the cry it out method, will eventually stop crying. Sleep training may certainly teach a baby to be quiet, but it has nothing to do with attachment or nurturance. Nurturance, the most primitive human need, for healthy development, requires responsive, sensitive care so that human connection feels natural and development is optimal. Nurturance and sleep training are not compatible. Isolating a baby to put her to sleep is the opposite of nurturance. Sleep training experts argue that infants can self-soothe, but they demonstrate a profound lack of neurobiological accuracy. This is such harmful information for new parents who are trying to do the right thing for their little ones. Infants cannot self-soothe. Self-soothing is a sophisticated higher function that develops much later in life. In fact, most adults can't self-soothe. And why do adults who prefer sleeping with a partner expect a baby to sleep alone? Ooh. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Kelly, you ain't have to do them like that. Let me run that back. Let me run that back on you. Nurturance and sleep training are not compatible. Sorry, I went to the wrong sentence. Let me go back to this one. Why do adults who prefer sleeping with a partner expect a baby to sleep alone? Anything that looks like self-soothing, such as thumb sucking, is purely auto-regulation, a scientific term for coping with isolation. Self-soothing or auto-regulation is what we do in a pinch. It's not designed to be a substitute for a relationship. Whoo! It's not. So if a baby starts sucking their thumb to self-soothe, and somebody or to auto-regulate, to have that experience of comfort when they need it. If they are doing that and they continue to do that throughout life, it doesn't mean that they figured out a way to self-soothe, because again, she said self-soothing is a higher function. They just learn to cope without their need being met. They learned how to make themselves feel to make up for just a little bit of what they actually needed, because their need isn't being met. And it's just like, oh, they're emotionally regulating, it's fine. And they're not thinking that. Like, a lot of times people are not thinking that because, life is too busy or whatever. But anyway. It's not designed to be a substitute for a relationship. And sleep trainers also don't tell parents how to stop their little ones' self-soothing behaviors in a kind, respectful way when it's time. Experts don't alert parents that they will need to step up nurturance efforts when they take away the self-soothing object or try to stop the auto-regulating behavior. I have so many painful examples from grown women who remember how they were shamed for sucking their thumb when it was time to go to school. I've learned how common it is for women to keep their first baby blanket or stuffed animal if they are able to. Often parents hide or throw away these early attachment substitutes in an attempt to make their child more independent, which is simply uninformed and heartbreaking, and leaves a deep mark of mistrust. Countless times I hear women share the story they were told by mom or dad. I don't know what happened to your teddy or blanket or doll, but they felt like it was a lie. The simmering hurt and anger is still very much alive decades later as they share the memory of loss. Expecting a baby to self-soothe may have more to do with parents needing a break or cultural expectations for American parents than baby's well-being. Expecting a baby to self-soothe may have more to do with parents needing a break or cultural expectations for American parents than the baby's well-being. This is understandable. Infant care is challenging, frustrating, and hard, so while taking a shortcut makes sense, it may backfire. Isolation to train a baby to go to sleep puts incredible pressure on the developing nervous system that needs human connection for comfort. Too much self-soothing sets up a need for other auto-regulatory substitutes, such as sugar, alcohol, fantasy, or sex, as a child grows up, because she is learning that she must meet her own needs instead of resting in the comfort of her caregiver. That's why it's not completely outlandish that you have people who have estranged relationships with their parents because their parents weren't nurturing and they weren't comforting, and they end up relying on things like smoking or drinking or gambling or video games or sex or masturbating or food, or exercise or church. All of these things are a replacement. And I'm not saying that you can't have those things incorporated into your life and have experienced the nurturance and comfort from your parents. But when you have to auto-regulate, and you have had to auto-regulate for the majority of your life, and you don't have a parental figure a nurturing figure to lean upon in times of need when you need help with emotional regulation. Like, it's easy to overuse and abuse all those things I just listed. Each individual thing in a small amount or in moderation, I mean, outside of like hard drugs, like, they're fine by themselves and every now and again, but doing those things to soothe something that you're missing can be a telltale to comfort that was missed out in the early developmental years. When separation happens too often and too long, the infant's body understands that things are really bad, and the freeze response, designed to buffer pain and fear, takes over. The freeze response is a step down the brainstem from protest efforts like crying or screaming. When this lower system is engaged, the baby gets quiet and sleepy. Breathing slows down. Her body may sag, and she may appear visibly resigned. A freeze response might look like a good baby, but it is really a baby learning to give up. It is really a baby learning to give up. She is learning that her needs won't be met, that human connection can't be trusted. This painful lesson won't unfold well as she gains maturity. If you were told, oh, you were such a good baby. I'm not saying that babies that cry less are immediately traumatized, but some of us got left alone, and that trend hasn't changed all through these years. Anyway, the next section is called Mother Hunger Begins. When we are helpless infants, hunger pains drive us toward our mother. She is our relief. Completely dependent on her care, we talk to her with our whole body. We squirm or whimper or cry. This is nature's way of bringing mom close. When she responds with milk and warmth, all is well. Milk and mother bring pleasure, and we learn that a full belly, our mother's touch, her voice, and her smell are the same. This is how human connection gets associated with pleasure, so that we want more of it. Hunger and bonding are inextricably biologically linked. Categorically, women with mother hunger struggle with both food and relationships. I have never seen one problem without the other. It's just a matter of which hurts more. From early nurturance experiences, food and love become linked in implicit memory. Think of the last time you were really hungry. What did it feel like? How long could you tolerate hunger pains before you got something to eat? Hunger hurts. The pain comes out of nowhere. From deep inside, a place you can't see, hunger pains get your attention. Adrenaline prompts you into action, so you find food. If hunger cries were often ignored during your infancy or toddler years, or your mom didn't enjoy feeding you, or the others who fed you really didn't know how, the pleasure of bonding was compromised. Warm satisfaction and pleasure may be linked for you in the physical sensation of fullness, but not warm satisfaction and pleasure may be linked for you with the physical sensation of fullness, but not with human contact. Food brings relief from pain, but a relationship doesn't. This is how we fall in love with food. I would even go so far to say that some of us, like for example me, when I feel distressed, when I'm having a depressive episode, like the first thing I do is stop eating. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know how that connects here, but like I can see that being a thing where it's just like people find comfort in food because of the warmth and the pleasure sensors being triggered. But I can also see how someone may just let themselves feel the hunger pains because they think that's what they're supposed to do whenever things are not going well. Anyway, I think like that. My body does that. So Let us move on to the next section, which is called inadequate nurturance. Josie was put in her big sister's bedroom right after she was born. Her big sister was only 10 years old, but it was her job to mix the formula, heat the bottles, and feed Josie throughout the night. While a big sister might enjoy this for a night or two, a 10-year-old is still a child who needs sleep. A 10-year-old can't substitute for a mother. Do you know why this was your sister's job? I asked Josie. She wasn't sure. I was the last of 6, so maybe Mom and Dad didn't want me. There it is, the implicit belief a child creates when maternal nurturance is inadequate. I'm not wanted. This belief becomes part of her internal unconscious love map that will guide her life and self-image. In Janine Roth's transformative book, When Food is Love, she states that many of us have been using food to replace love for so many years that we wouldn't recognize love if it knocked us over. Roth links the powerful connection between food and love that is intrinsic to mother hunger. Welcome to Reading What Miss Taylor Said. We are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Roth links the powerful connection between food and love that is intrinsic to mother hunger. This connection is so strong not because food is actually love, but because it's our first experience of love. When maternal nurturance is compromised, food provides the first sense of real comfort. Food rescues a hungry heart. Perhaps this explains why for many of us, eating is much more than a simple response to being hungry. We eat when we're lonely, stressed, or afraid. We eat when we're bored, tired, or ashamed. Eating rituals are windows into the soul. If you want to know yourself more deeply, notice how and when you eat. Women with mother hunger are conflicted about eating because maternal deprivation requires substitute comfort. Some avoid meals and restrict calories to feel strong, visible, or safe. Starving is one of the most basic ways to compensate for feeling helpless. There it is. That's what I was just explaining earlier. Others are more inclined to overindulge, following the inner voice promising that pizza will make everything okay. They didn't have to specify pizza. They could have just said food. That food will make everything okay. Overeating and undereating are effective ways to mask internal distress and numb the void where maternal nurturance fell short. How are we doing on time? I'm enjoying, I don't really have much commentary for this. I'm enjoying just reading it, so I'm going to continue. Eating as language is the next section. Let's see. Okay, cool. Hunger is a human experience. So are hunger pains. Women without maternal nurturance grow up hungry for both love and food and frequently confuse the two. In fact, loneliness triggers brain cravings similar to physical hunger. Look at maladaptive eating habits as signals of wordless despair. Eating patterns tell the story of early attachment, so I pay attention. Stacy Sprout, clinician and author of Naked in Public, beautifully captures how she found a surrogate for missing maternal nurturance. Food became my comfort. Food became my comfort, my pleasure, and my stand-in for affection and touch. Touch on the inside, touch I can control. Stacy's words reflect the way food becomes a primary relationship, standing in for maternal care. Similarly, in the powerful memoir Hunger, Roxane Gay discusses the connection between food and love. She shares how visiting her family triggers powerful cravings for food. I am so much more than hungry when I am home. I am starving. I am an animal. I am desperate to be fed. For so many of the women that I work with, returning home stirs up longing, anger, and hunger. It's as if being close to mom again reminds the body of rejection and longing. Gay says, I start to crave foods, any foods. I get uncontrollable urges to binge, to satisfy the growing ache, to fill the hollowness of feeling alone around people who are supposed to love me. The next section is called Escape Act. Welcome to Reading What Miss Taylor Said. We are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Nadine was often frightened as a little girl. She grew up in a home with 2 parents and an older brother. Her father was always angry. Her brother was a bully and her mother was too distracted to pay attention. Nadine remembers meal times as particularly miserable. Welcome in. Welcome to Reading What Miss Taylor Said. We are reading Mother Hunger. Nadine remembers mealtimes as particularly miserable. She remembers her father criticizing her mother and the food. At the table, he preferred silence. If anyone spoke, his anger became aggressive. Nadine's brother usually provoked a fight, and her mother often left the table in tears. Nadine just wished everyone would be quiet so her father wouldn't get mad at her brother or make her mother cry. To cope with distress, she focused on her plate. She kept her eyes on the food. When I asked her to remember how the food tasted, she said, I liked it. If I tried hard enough, I could almost forget anyone was there. Nadine was a resourceful little girl. She found a way to soothe her fear. Focusing on eating calmed her nervous system, but over time, this practice became somewhat automatic. In essence, Nadine learned to isolate herself into a food trance, a zone where nothing else existed except the food on her plate. Nadine's strategy for regulating fear followed her into adulthood. As a mother now herself, Nadine still prefers to eat alone. She prepares her food and takes it to her room. Her children eat alone in their rooms with computers and phones for company, and her husband does the same. Food and technology replace human connection in this family, mimicking the isolation of Nadine's original home. Food is a powerfully effective way to regulate emotions when human connection can't. In my experience, helping women rearrange the primitive bond that serves as a stand-in for early maternal care takes incredible respect and time. This makes sense if we understand that overeating and undereating are in fact related to the fight or flight response, a way to escape pain. Unable to leave the family table or caught with a sweet sugary supply, some girls discovered very young that food provides a virtual escape from intolerable feelings. Food plans generally don't work because rules feel like deprivation and trigger the primary loss. We know that food and nurturance are connected. When a friend is sick, we offer food. To celebrate a holiday or accomplishment, we share a meal. But lack of early nurturance distorts the connection between food and bonding, leading to what Alexandra Kiriakis, PhD, calls the comfort without contact strategy. Comfort without contact or self-soothing is what babies learn when there is too much maternal deprivation. This is why sleep training is so risky and can be a setup for mother hunger to grow. As a child matures, food replaces thumb sucking or finger chewing. That hand-to-mouth fixation. I just saw something on TikTok that some mothers are saying works. So they were saying, this is kind of related, but not really. They were saying if you have a hard time getting your child off of their tablet or away from the TV to eat dinner, or like getting a kid to sit down and focus on dinner, what they started doing is like when they put a candle, light a candle, put it on the table where they want the kid to eat, and then put the food there. And a lot of parents have been saying that the kids just gravitate to the table and just go to the table and start eating. And like, of course, you set the candle away from where they are so that they're not tempted to like play with it or blow it out or anything like that. But you know, that's something that people have been doing. And it's very funny to me because it makes me think about, like, immediately when I heard them say lighting a candle, putting it on the table without question, the kids aren't, you don't even have to say dinner's ready. Like, the kids are walking over to the table and they're sitting down to eat, and they know, like, seeing the candle on the table signals in their brain it's time to eat. They go to the table, they sit down and eat. They eat the whole meal, even if it's something they say, oh, I don't like that, I don't like that. They sit down, they eat the whole meal, and then they sit down, they eat the whole meal, and then they blow out the candle at the end of the dinner. And I'm like, isn't that old world, ancient world stuff? 4:44 on my clock as I said that. Like, isn't that that just sounds like old world, you know? Like this instinctive, like, original human feeling. When you take all this industrial, technological shit away, like, a flame on the table signals it's time to eat. And they instinctively picked up on that. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. And I want to try it now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this last section. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to stop right there. The next section is called Food Trance. And I have a feeling that's going to be just a little more intense. But I am looking forward to us reading that. Next Thursday is May 2nd. I always have to look at the calendar for that. Next Thursday is May 2nd. And we will be back here around 4 o'clock. And I might even try to prepare for the episode, depending on how school is. I have a test coming up and everything like that. So depending on how school is, I will prepare for the episode before I get here. It has been really great to be here with y'all today. I really enjoyed the new setup. Feeling great today. I hope that you all are open to receiving things that are new and open to releasing things that no longer serve you. I always love that you guys are here. Thank you, Sarante. I am so happy to see all these situations play out in my life where, like, something that has been troubling me, or a relationship or a person who has been creating hostile environments for me and things like that. And not just me, others around me, but like there have been multiple people, specifically throughout my experience with school, that have created hostile environments, making it difficult to comfortably get the education that we need. And not just me, others as well. Like, usually if there's a person that I have an issue with, there are other people that have an issue with this person as well. And so it's been really great to see those situations play out, and the energy of Mercury retrograde, of all these eclipses and things like that, and the seasons being, you know, the seasons of Aries and all the things, all the astrological things that are going on. It's been really comforting to see that things that have been harmful have been removing themselves. And I pray and hope that you have been staying in alignment, that you have been listening to your intuition, you've been listening to your gut, or wherever you feel your intuition. Some people will feel it in their gut. I feel it in, like, my throat and my head. Other people may feel it in their chest. It shows up differently for different people. So wherever your intuition shows up in your body, I hope that you are listening to your body. I hope that you are listening to your body. I hope that you are always striving to be the most authentic version of yourself. The reason why we read these books, the reason why I've been doing this since 2020 is because I want to, as I am going through the journey of unpacking the trauma of my childhood, unpacking the things that I've gone through, unpacking why I've been through so many difficult situations, and how I played a part in it, and how people who have been around me have played a part in that. Like, as we've been going on this journey, I hope that it has been 4 years of Miss Taylor Said, of reading what Miss Taylor said. And as we've been going on this journey, I hope that, you feel more connected to your body. You feel more connected to your intuition. You can trust yourself a little bit more. The thing that we, especially in these times where there's so much war, there's so much death, there is so many people trying to convince you that there are so many people right now trying to convince you that what you're seeing and what you're feeling is not true and is not valid. There's so many people that are trying to put things in front of your face that are not real with all this AI. There's so many people trying to convince you that you are not experiencing what you're experiencing. And I just hope that these years of connecting like this have been an aid in helping you feel more connected to your body, in helping you have a better understanding of yourself, in helping you know what your truth is deep down in your bones, so that if somebody tries to tell you you didn't see what you saw, that didn't happen to you, no, you can stand 10 toes down in, I know what I said, I know what I saw, I know what I felt, I know what I experienced. I hope that we are continuing to connect to our most authentic self. We are continuing to connect to the God that's within us and above us and below us and all around us, because God is not linear. God is not just some big figure sitting up there waiting to tell you that you ain't shit. That is not God. That is not God. That is not the creator. That's an imposter. I pray that you've been connecting with nature more. I pray that you have put your feet on the grass, put your hands in the soil, let the rain fall on your skin, sat and listened to the wind as it blows, hug a tree, genuinely go on a hike, spend time in nature, sit on a beach, whatever it is. Even if all you got is that little patch of grass outside your apartment, make sure ain't no dog poop on it or nothing like that, but find the softest part and put your feet there. We are a part of this earth. We are not the rulers of this earth. We are a part of it. We exist in it. And she is gracious to allow us here and continue to allow us here. And so let us continue to find, it's like the layers of existence. Let us continue to find the God within us, the goddess within us. Let us continue to find the vastness of our universe, the vastness of our worlds, the vastness of our human bodies. Let us continue to appreciate, take care of, listen to, connect with, cleanse these bodies and love on them and thank them. Thank your body. I know that the society that we live in is constantly trying to tell you that the body you live in is not acceptable, but that is not true. Your body has been protecting you up until this point. They're always here. Your body has been protecting you up until this point. Your body has been loving you. So love your body, hug yourself, squeeze yourself, sway gently from side to side. Allow yourself to be taken care of. Somebody has said, I don't remember who said it, but somebody has said that part of The part of being a responsible community member is not just making sure that everyone is good, but also allowing the people of your community to take care of you and love on you. That is your responsibility in your community, not just to take care of everyone else, but allow your community to take care of you. Allow your community to nurture you. Allow your community to show up for you. Especially if you are in a chosen family or if you've chosen your community, and it's not just the people you grew up around. Allow your people to take care of you. Allow yourself to be loved on. I know, and that's why I'm saying it. That's why I'm saying it. Because it is a responsibility to your community to allow them to show up for you. The same way it is your responsibility to show up for people in your community, it is your responsibility to allow them to do what they're going to do. It's kind of like that whole idea of like, if somebody tries to give you something and you're like, no, I don't need it. And they're like, no, I need you to take this. I need you to take this because in order for me to get my blessing, I got to do this. I got to let this go. I got to pass this on to you. I got to pass this blessing on to you, so that I can get my blessing. Don't block my blessings by not receiving the ones that are meant for you. Don't block somebody else's blessing by not accepting and receiving what God has told them to give you. And as long as it's not harming you and it's coming from a place of love, let your people show up for you. And that's a reminder to myself as well. We're reading these books, you know, especially if you're here, if you're constantly showing up. I'm not saying for a fact that you experience lack of nurturance, care, protection, and all that from your parents, or that I'm not saying that you automatically had an emotionally immature parent, or you had a parent that didn't fulfill the needs that you had as a child. But more than likely, especially those of us who didn't grow up rich, or didn't grow up with a whole bunch of resources, or didn't grow up with a whole bunch of family members around, listen, there was something that was lacking, more than likely. Capitalism is intentional about making sure that parents do not have all the things that they need to take care of their children. So it is okay for you to allow someone else to show up for you. You are allowed to be taken care of. Let me give you permission. Let me give you permission. You are allowed to accept and receive help that others try to offer you. You are allowed to accept and receive love from other people. You are allowed to accept and receive love from God. You are allowed to accept and receive love from your benevolent ancestors and spirit guides and angels. You are allowed to accept and receive that love. And I hope that you continue to allow yourself. I hope that you allow yourself to receive that. You are allowed that. And not just that, you deserve nurturance and love and care. And if there are people that are not willing to give that to you, that are trying to be close to you, maybe don't let them be so close. And I'm not saying that like you gotta just cut off everybody, but if you have people that are close to you and you state your needs and they don't care about helping meet those needs, it's okay for them to not be here. You are allowed to be loved. I don't know why I have to keep saying that, but you are allowed to be loved. You are allowed to be held. You are allowed to be fed. You are allowed to be cuddled with and given joyful moments. We are allowed that. And we must experience it. We must experience nurturance. We must experience joy. We must experience care. It's true. You are a human. You are here on this planet. There is Every single living being deserves nurturance and care. And I hope and pray that with all of these cycles of death that are coming around us, we are able to release those and things that no longer serve us, so that we can make space and so that we can make space and room for all the love that's meant for us. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for showing up to Reading what Miss Taylor said. I'm really enjoying this angle. I feel like I have more control over things rather than when I was sitting over there. So I'm excited about that. And I hope that y'all have a great day. I hope that y'all have a great weekend. I hope you feel the sun on your skin, and that you allow yourself to be loved. I'll see y'all next week.